Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in. So this particular segment is on how to use Classcraft to add bits of gamification to your classroom management. I started using Classcraft as a way to incentivize the learning that was taking place in my class, but also to make it fun. So just a brief synopsis, basically Classcraft, the way I think of it is like Class Dojo meets World of Warcraft. So essentially what it does is you are the game master. You control it just like you would Class Dojo, if you're familiar with Class Dojo, where you assign players points, you take away points. It incentivizes the learning in your class and makes the interaction between you and your students fun. And as you can see on their, this is their student tutorial handout that they give. There are basically three characters that the students can choose from. You have the healer, which is right here in the middle. You have the warriors right here and here, and then you have mages. Now each of these characters that your students will basically role play in your classroom all have different powers, they have different abilities, and it's individual as well as team based. So the students really have to strategize in terms of who will be what character and how that thing plays out in the classroom. Let me show you just a little bit. Scroll down here to their character sheet. So these are kind of the power trees. So each, and this is the mage's power tree, if you will. Each player has what's called hit points, which is HP. They have action points, which are AP. And then they gain experience points, which is XP. And experience points are based on things they do in class, like completing assignments, quizzes, tests, whatever you want to give for XP points. And we'll go through that in a minute. But I wanted to show you this. The HP is the health points. So if they are being off task or talkative, what have you, you can subtract health points until they theoretically die in the game and they have to face a consequence. Action points is what they use to use their powers. And all of these things are very customizable in the game, and I'll show you that in a second. But each player has these powers, if you will, that they can use and that you can actually, like I said, customize in the game and change them. So like for this person, they can use teleport and they can leave the classroom. I didn't necessarily like that, so I made teleport. They can switch seats in their classroom. They have to use this many action points, which is 5, in order to do that. Then they have, invisibility, etc., etc. So they have all these powers. Also, same thing with the warrior. They have their own powers. Notice that they have a different amount of health points, which really brings in the strategy-based elements here, because they have to figure out who's going to be a warrior, who's going to be a mage, and then you have finally the healer. This person can heal other people, they can help them, they can do all these great things in the classroom. So the students really have to decide which characters they want to be. So I'm going to show you basically what it looks like. So here's your dashboard. So you have your different students. What I like about Classcraft is there's 3 different looks that you can see. You can have the individual students here. My students are in guilds, so each team has their team name, and this is in beta mode right now, but they're doing some upgrades for the fall. So I can get a real good look at how each team is progressing in my class, and that can be seen here. And I can assign points to the entire team, or I can go to this view and subtract HP points or give action points or XP points to each individual here. You can also see how many XP points they've earned. You can see the class that they're on in terms of where their level, the number of levels they've ranked up to. So that's that view. And essentially, basically, the way it works is, you take health points if a student is off task, if a student is misbehaving. If they get all the way down to 0 health points, they actually die in the game, and they have what's called a death sentence. And you can see this in what's called the Book of Laments. So like this person died, and one of the consequences they had, and you can customize this, is I made them write a consequence essay. I teach middle school, so I had to make it something really punitive, because otherwise the kids will laugh and not take it seriously. So, and then when they finish the consequence, you can just get rid of it and that's done. All right. And now with that, I had a student every student had to sign what's called a hero pack. So basically, the hero pack, they had to sign this. You can get their parents to sign it. They basically says that, I'm going to follow the rules of the game. I'll comply with the consequences. Any decisions made by the game master, which is myself, and they basically choose to participate, and they won't leave the game. So they sign it, bring it back in. You can have their parents sign it to agree with it as well. So that's that. Also, what I like about Classcraft is the daily events. So you can actually customize this. The kids always ask what the daily event is. So it's basically just these random list of events that the developers came up with. So you click on it. So like this one is a meditation. A random player must close his eyes for the duration of the class. Some of them are kind of funny. One of them that we experienced was the person with the lowest experience points had to make the game master sing a song. So they made me sing Katy Perry, Dark Horse. And that was pretty hilarious because I had no idea how to sing Dark Horse. So, you could pick somebody who had to randomly this goes to. So you go there. And now my student had to do that. So they had a bunch of them. You can click on them, go through them. Here's another one. This random player takes damage for the class but gains 300 XP. And then you can kind of see the history of everything here. So they have a drop-down menu, and you can see what's been going on. Also, there's a student view. So every student gets a log on to Classcraft, and they can see their powers for their characters. They can level up and do all those great things there too. They also have a celestial selector. So I love this for doing warm-ups or just, randomly selecting students to answer questions because it really keeps them on their toes. So I can go here, pick a person. He has to answer the question. If he gets it right, I give him, so many XP points. And as you can see here, this is another feature they added. They've kind of added these different set of point values depending on what's there. You can create your own custom reason for adding the XP points, and you can just click on it and award that person, as you can see, XP points, and it automatically moves up. So you can go there, and then you can also do a random team picker. So it picks somebody from this team. This is Money Baby, one of my teams from my classroom, and so that I could pick another team if I wanted to. Or nah, that's another team they called. Very interesting names in my class. But that's another great device. You can also they have a grade book here where if you wanted to put in grades and import XP points based on that, you could do that too. They also have a great forum for discussions and to start conversations. Each team member can have that place to put in there. You can also disable this if you want. And then they have other teacher tools. So here they have a whole Learn to Play section, which gives your students tutorials as well as yourself. You can also manage your class here, put in all their email addresses, create new addresses, have the kids sign up. All that stuff takes place there. And let me exit out here. Sorry about that. And then you also have, let me go back to the other tools here. And here, this is what I like, the customization. So here I can change any of my game settings. I can change any of my powers that I want and rename them, in terms of the point value. Are they collaborative or individual? I can also go here and change all of the daily events. My suggestion is you go through and kind of vet these to see if there are daily events that you want, and you can take them off. You can change them. You can also change the death sentences to whatever you want them to be. Some people don't like the term death sentences, so they're thinking about revamping that for their fall layout. They also have some forums, teacher forums, and I can show you that. The other presets for XP points if you want to change the amount of XP points and HP and things of that nature. And then there's other settings that you can also import as well. So, I mean, I really like the functionality of it. The only drawback is everything is you have to manually input. So they're looking at options to make a more automated system in Classcraft. Other than that, my kids love it. It really brings in a lot of engagement, motivation, a lot of transparency because the students can see how many points they have. Students know what the consequences are. So they try to maintain their health points as much as they can. But then on the same note, they also protect each other. So it brings in that collaborative team-based dynamic in the classroom, which is very interesting because it brings a lot of camaraderie. Because now the students have to work, in teams. They have to help each other. They motivate each other. So I really love this tool, and I think you will love it too if you're using gamification, or if you think about using gamification or game-based learning. Really look into Classcraft as an option, and feel free to reach out and follow my blog if you have any questions or any suggestions. I'm definitely here to help. So hopefully this tutorial has opened your eyes to Classcraft, and hopefully it'll help your students and motivate them in the classroom. Until next time, thanks for tuning in and take care.